Okay, we back. Late stream. I just felt like I wanted to do this right now, and just for something to do. And I feel like playing some retro games, so we'll probably play a little bit of retro games tonight. After, but first I want to do a console tier list. This is something that I wanted to do for a YouTube video, but I was like, I don't know, like, you don't really need much editing for a tier list, so I feel like it's probably just as well for me to do like a little stream, and then I can just cut it out for a video maybe. So essentially we're gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna play some random Sega Genesis games or something. Probably that's the console I have hooked up, so that's what we'll go for. So yeah, let's do a little tier list. Now I apologize for like the stretched image because I'm still using the retro layout for all this, but hopefully everything is okay. Okay, so I got this one here, which is like a 2022 tier list. So it's got most consoles. The only ones I'm not going to rate on this list are probably going to be like ones that are doubles. Like, I'm not really rating the console as in itself. I'm rating like it and its library kind of deal. But this was the most comprehensive list I could find without making my own. So essentially, like, we can do a Game Boy, and then we can do Game Boy Color, and then we can do Game Boy Advance because they have separate libraries from each other. Whereas Game Boy Pocket is just like it's Game Boy. It's a Game Boy that's smaller. So we're not gonna rank that. So yeah. So we'll get started, I guess. I guess we'll just start top to bottom and try to figure some stuff out here. Okay. So it looks like we're starting off pretty much oldest to newest, right? Is that what this is doing here? Is what it looks like. Okay. So Atari Pong. I mean, you can't, it's hard to give this, like, a bad rating, because, like, it's Pong, which is a good game, and it's, like, one of the first games, so it's kind of like a weird thing, you know, the console does what it's supposed to do, it plays Pong. I'm gonna go with D on that. The Telstar Colortron, I'm not super familiar with. But there are better consoles from Coleco. We'll leave it there for now. Stuff I'm unsure about, we can always change later. Tiger Gamecom S tier, yeah. I don't even know if that's on here, if Tiger's consoles are on here. I don't even know if they count. I don't think they are. But yes, we'll just pretend it's S tier, for sure. Okay. Magnavox Odyssey. I mean, for its time, it's a good console, right? This is what I'm trying to keep in mind, too. I'm trying to not, you know, say, oh, this is old, so it's not very good. I feel like C tier is too high, though, right? Maybe, like, high D tier? It's better than Pong. The Atari 2600, honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards A. Huge library. A lot of good games, but it has some stinkers. But, I mean, it's a legendary console, you know? But it did crash the video game market, too, so... it's kind of responsible. Is it? Oh, it's right here. You're right. Right on. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna leave it in A. It's probably gonna be, like, low A by the time we're done, but I feel like A tier... The 2600 is such a good console, and I still play my 2600 to this day. Like, especially like Berserk. Games like that. Like, I just really like those games. They're just mindless fun, you know? Okay, Atari 5200 is going straight into the F tier because the console barely fucking works. And the controller is terrible. ColecoVision, honestly... Oh, better graphics than Atari 2600. Games, not as much. See, this is where I struggle, is with this generation of games. Like, I kind of grew up with it, like, I had one, but it wasn't like a console I wanted. It's just that my mom had it, so, you know. I'm gonna put it C. I feel like that and the Intellivision are almost equal. Although I do probably play my ColecoVision more than my Intellivision. Fairchild, like, I feel like it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go E. Vectrix is solid B. There's a lot of really good games for Vectrix. It's probably gonna be like a low B though. Feel free to have input here too, by the way. I can't say I'll agree with you, but you know. Game & Watch, I mean, they're like Tiger games, but like good. I'll put it C for now. Atari 7800 is minimally better than the 5200 in that it works, but it's basically just kind of like an 8-bit Atari 8-bit computer in a console, really. Probably a little more powerful though. Commodore 64 is definitely a C. I would even put it above ColecoVision. NES is easy S tier. Master System, Sega Master System. See, I love the Master System, but I'm a Sega fanatic, so it's hard for me to do this. I'm trying to be fair, but also try to keep my biases kind of out of it a little bit, and go by mostly just by experience, what I've played. Like, if we're talking about Master System in Europe, it has a huge, amazing library, but over here, in North America, it's kind of shit. Ooh. But, like, I'll go B. I feel like it's a B. It's definitely better than the Vectrix. I'm a Master System fan, for sure. I think the Game Gear will go just below it, because it's almost the same library, just, you know, handheld. Okay, so, Atari Lynx. Like I said, I'm not doing variations on the same console, only if the console has a different library of games. The Lynx is probably, like, a D. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. I'm okay with that. I'm not doing mini consoles either. TurboGrafx 16. Does that, like, the CD is attached to it, so I'm guessing that includes that library as well. TurboGrafx 16. See, PC Engine is better. If we're including the PC Engine games in this console's library, it's definitely like a high B. I think so. What up, Spirited? How you doing? Brazil loves Master. I love Master. I like my Master System. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but I wish I had started collecting for like a European model instead, because like there's just a way bigger library, right? Because it has Chips Challenge. Oh, that's great. I love that. Okay, original Game Boy, like black and white Game Boy games. Is it S tier? It has a lot of good games. Or is it A tier? Do we judge it based on its black and white? I don't think so, though. I think we should just base on games. Pretty crazy for its time. I mean, it's up there. Gotta be up there in one of the best-selling consoles of all time, right? I don't think it's S tier, though. I don't know, though. So many good games, man. Like 3 solid good Mario games. You think A? Yeah. I think A, and probably higher than the 2600. Okay. Super Nintendo. I think S tier. Like, Nintendo's first 2 consoles are both S tier, in my opinion. And I'm not even a Nintendo fan. I'm a Sega boy. Yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying with Game Boy, but, like, you know, it might be, like, responsible for that, but we did get better versions at the same time, because we got NES Tetris as well, you know? That's okay. Feel free to put input in. Once again, I'll take it into consideration. I think SNES is S tier. I'll leave it S tier. Okay. CDI is... I don't know if it's F. It's not F. It has games that are okay. Like, even those Zelda games have, like, a charm to them. I'm gonna put it like up top E tier. I'm gonna put 7800 in front of it though, because it has better library. I think that's fair. The Sega 32X. Now, I love the 32X, but I gotta be kind of non-biased here. I feel like C tier is fair for the 32X. I don't think it's a total failure because it does have good games. It's either high C or low B. SNES F tier, no chips challenge. I don't know. I'm gonna go high C for now. That probably sounds like blasphemy coming from me, but it did. It has a nice sound engine. It has good games. It has Knuckles Chaotix. It has 2 very good arcade ports of Afterburner and Space Harrier. It has Metalhead, which is a decent game. It has Calibri is a good game. Tempo is a good game. Star Wars Arcade is a good game. Shadow Squadron's a good, like, it has good games. People act like that game is trash and it has no good games, but like, I feel like it's underappreciated. I'll leave it at high C tier, but we might end up putting it into low B. Sega CD, on the other hand, I feel like is definitely high B tier. Cause man, Sega CD, I don't know, might even be A. I don't know though. It has so many good JRPGs. You get Vey, the Lunar 1 and 2, Shining Force CD, Sonic CD, Snatcher. Yeah, Virtua Racing on 32X is dope. I agree. Okay, I think Sega CD is, I don't know, man. It might be low A. I feel weird putting Sega CD in A tier. Why do I feel that way? Because I love that console, and I genuinely do think it has a great library of games. We'll go at low A. Okay. Someone's gonna, like, freaking destroy me for this list. The Sega Genesis is absolutely S tier. I'm not really putting one of those above each other. I consider Genesis and Super Nintendo pretty even. They just have different specialities in which libraries they're best at, in my opinion. The Game Gear, I'm going to put right under the Master System because it's almost the same library, just not as good. Because you got like a shit screen and the games are cropped. Neo Geo CD has genuinely really good ports. I own a Neo Geo CD. But it's not as good as like an MVS or an AES, so because the load times are pretty redonkulous on it. I feel like we'll go C. Ooh, I don't know though. It feels wrong, man. I feel like I'm I'm sure this list is gonna change as we're going anyway. Okay, Neo Geo straight up is A tier, 100%. That console does exact arcade ports, and they're amazing to play. And the only problem is that it's expensive, but I'm not really judging on the price of the console, so is near unusable without an AC adapter. I agree. That's true. That's why I put it below Master System, because you can play almost any Game Gear game you can get for the Master System. Okay, Atari Jaguar. I love my Jaguar. But fuck. Okay. Is it better than the Intellivision and ColecoVision? It's not better than the Commodore 64. Jaguar is one of those consoles. I love it, but like it deserves the hate that it gets. In my opinion. I don't think it's as good as a Neo Geo or a 32X. Yeah. I'll put it here. I'll put it below those. I feel like C tier is fair because it does have good games. Like it has Aliens vs Predator, which is a great game. It has Doom, one of the best console versions of Doom. Like Wolfenstein 3D is really good on it. It has some good games, for sure, and it has a huge community now. but, you know, it is what it is. Jaguar CD is an easy fucking E, low E, because it does have good games, but what a failure. And the piece of shit probably barely worked. Game Boy Color might be S tier. Game Boy is A tier. I feel like Game Boy Color is absolutely S tier, because once we started getting Game Boy Color games, there were a lot of good Game Boy Color games, and Pokemon games got way better. Trevor McFur, yeah. I bought that game one time, and when I got home it didn't work and I had to bring it back. Game Boy Color is S tier in my opinion. Game Boy Advance is probably A tier as well. But we're not there yet. N64. Some people are gonna hate me for this, and I apologize in advance. But I can't go any higher than B tier for N64. I don't know, man. Maybe low A. Is low A or high B? Like, it has great games. You got the Banjo games. You got Conker's Bad Fur Day. Obviously. Adore that game. GoldenEye. Oh, man. It has Ocarina of Time, though. Okay, we'll go here. I ain't afraid of Kazooie. N64 is not an A-tier console. I'm sorry, it's just not. It has good games, but it doesn't have the variety that like PlayStation has. It doesn't have like good sports games. It doesn't have very many JRPGs, if any. Like, I feel like it's missing a whole section of video games that it just didn't get. But the stuff that it did do did well, because Rare was there, and Rare made almost every fucking good game for the N64 besides Nintendo. Like, Nintendo 64 is good. It has good first-party titles, because you got Rare making all the games for Nintendo. You got all Nintendo's first-party titles. They're all amazing. But, like, outside of that, tell me some N64 games that are really standouts. You know what I mean? Look, whereas, like, a PlayStation 1 came out at the same time, and PS1 had great third-party titles, great first-party titles. You know what I mean? Pokemon Stadium is a first-party title. That's Game Freak. They're Nintendo, right? See what I'm saying? Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, the Banjo-Kazooie games, anything made by Rare, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64. Like, I'm trying to think of a game that's, like, not... Yeah, but I mean, there's better versions of Turok, right? See, what, like, the third-party releases on N64, I feel like, are just very, like, not the best versions of it. Like, you could absolutely play, yeah. Yeah, and eventually we got Vigilante 8 on Dreamcast, too, which it was amazing on Dreamcast, so... Castlevania N64 games are playable, but I wouldn't say they're, like, a masterpiece or anything, you know? Like, I'm not being a hater, I swear. I had an N64 growing up. Like, I have love for it. Like, I have my Jungle Green one. I'm just saying that the PlayStation is better than the N64, and PlayStation 1 is absolutely S tier. Right? Like, I don't think that's even, like, debatable. I'm sorry. She's like, unsubscribe, unfollow. Okay, Virtual Boy. Oh, I'm really close to F tier on this one. Is the Virtual Boy better than the Jaguar CD? Virtual Boy only has like fucking 10 games, so I mean, I feel like it has to be F tier, right? Like, it's one of the biggest video game failures of all time. I'm pretty sure it's still Nintendo's biggest video game failure. Only slightly is the Wii U ahead of that. Vigilante 8 games run. Yeah, it's only the second one. Yeah, it is only the second one. You're correct. Yeah, okay. Should I rank the Sega Nomad? I feel like that doesn't count because it's literally a handheld Sega Genesis. So I won't. Sega Saturn. See, this is another one. Like, if I'm ranking these based on their North American libraries, then I feel like it's like a completely different list. But if I take in consideration how popular the Saturn is in Japan, and how many good games came out for the Saturn in Japan, I feel like it's like high B or low A. I don't think it's as good as the N64. And I know it's blasphemy because I love Sega, but I'm willing to admit that Sega sucks. Sega had a really shitty run in the late 90s. Unless someone gives me an opinion that thinks that the Saturn is better than N64. Man, yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. The Saturn has Knights. It does have Sonic 3D Blast. It has Sonic R, which is, you know, meh. Depends on how you look at it, I guess. It has both the Panzer Dragoon games, though. You know what I mean? Like, and Panzer Dragoon Saga is a really good game. There's a lot of Japanese Saturn games that are very good games. Like, so many good games. And I'm trying to include, like, international releases. So, I feel like it's got to be A tier. It's not B. I don't think the Saturn's B. If it is, it's high B. Because it's definitely better than TurboGrafx 16. See, that was another one I was struggling with because I was like, PC Engine like has way more games than TurboGrafx 16, and it's the same console, so it's just not North American, you know. I'll put it in low A for now. I might change it after. We'll probably come back around. I'm just gonna do the Neo Geo Pocket Color and skip Pocket. I genuinely do think this is a really good console, but it's unfortunate it didn't sell. It's probably low B. There's good Sonic game on it. Good Metal Slug games. A lot of good RPGs. Final Fantasy. Oh no, that's not that. That's WonderSwan for Final Fantasy. I'm stupid. Anyways, okay. PlayStation S tier. Absolutely. I feel like it's probably up there too. It's better than Sega Genesis and SNES in my opinion. I mean, it has a bunch of SNES games on it, for Christ's sake. So I feel like that's fair. The 3DO is a good console. Don't care what anybody says. You can fight me on that. I'm putting it in high B. You found one game. That's so good. The Gamecom S tier. In all honesty, it's probably like low E. I don't think it's a complete failure, but I mean it kind of is though, isn't it? I feel like some of these I'm taking as more of a joke because it's hard to rank them because some of them are just they underperform so spectacularly that it's hard to fucking give them a spot. That's like this was only up to D rank and I added E and F because I was like I'm not gonna have enough room to figure out what I want for these other ones. Kim Kong. The original Xbox. Great console. Best graphics out of that generation's consoles. Like, out of all four of them, it was the best. 100%, hands down. But, I mean, there are Xbox games that look like borderline 360 games. Like, I was playing Conker's Live and Reloaded yesterday, and I was like, man, going back and looking at it, I was like, man, this could, like, easily be a 360 game. But, man, is its library weak, though? We got Halo, though. I mean, Halo, it's got to be A tier, right? Yeah, I mean, the Gamecom it's one of those consoles that it's like, it's cool because it was experimental, but like, as a console, is it a good console? No. It's like Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy is really cool if you've ever used one. They're really sick, but complete failure. And it does hurt your eyes after a while. I feel like the Xbox... I feel like the Saturn... I don't know, though. See? Like, this... My thing is when I get in these tier lists and we start moving these around and trying to get, like, a good order in each row, it's going to be really difficult for me because I'm going to, like, struggle. Game Boy Advance is A tier. I don't know though. It might be B. I feel like Game Boy Advance has a lot less good games than Game Boy Color does, or Game Boy, for that matter. Like, I'm trying to think, like, when I go through this list, I'm like, okay, if I had to choose from these consoles to play, would I want to play this more than this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you say B+, so, like, high B? I think so. I think it's, like, right here. Because I do think TurboGrafx and PC Engine has a bigger and better library than Game Boy Advance, and so does 3DO, in my opinion. But it's not... It's definitely better than Game Gear and Master System, so I feel like that's fair. Okay, micro doesn't count. GameCube is like another one I'm gonna get hate for, but I feel like it's a B. It's like a low B. GameCube is another one of those consoles, man. You try to think about like a bunch of really, really extremely good games for it, and it's like there's not that many exclusives that were like absolutely like out of the park. They didn't even... Mario Sunshine in the grand scheme of Mario games is not like one of the best ones, you know? Yeah, like GBA had a lot of shovelware. I feel like GameCube is probably like here. Or maybe even here, actually. I feel like it's pretty close to Game Boy Advance. They're kind of like in a similar area for me. Game Boy SB. The N-Gage is also... I don't know, though. The N-Gage was, like, not the worst thing ever. I feel like it's definitely the best out of the F tier. Dreamcast. Okay, I gotta step aside here for a second. I gotta let my biases not take me, because I adore the Dreamcast. I had one, and I adored it when it came out, and I still do. 2 great Sonic Adventure games we got out of it. You know, like... It's not like it's a bad console, so... We got 2 Power Stone games, both amazing. Great Soul Calibur ports. Great arcade ports from all kinds of different Sega arcade games, like Crazy Taxi and stuff like that. House of the Dead. I feel like Dreamcast gotta be A, right? Am I wrong for thinking Dreamcast is an A-tier console? I feel like it's probably equal to the N64. In my opinion. I mean, a lot of its games are N64/PlayStation ports as well, so... I don't know, I feel like it's A tier. It's better than the Sega CD, for sure. PS2 is easy S tier. In fact, it's like very high. It's better than PS1. PS2 is like one of the best selling consoles of all time. I might even like it more than the NES. I feel like I have to. Like the Metal Gear Solid games, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, SOCOM. So many huge series started on PS2. PS2 is probably one of the best consoles of all time, if not the best, in my opinion. Online play, free, without having to pay for a service at the time. You know, like, one of the biggest libraries of games there is. Okay, what else we got? Xbox 360 is like high A tier. I don't think it's S tier, is it? Are any Xbox consoles S tier? I'm not a big Xbox person. See, like, I was always PlayStation. Spyro, you're beloved. We'll go back through the rows and we'll try to arrange them in a good order in each row once we're done. But I'm just trying to mainly get them on high or low parts of which one at this moment. Yeah. I feel like 360 is like high A tier. I don't know, man. Great Halo games, Gears of War. It's either high A or low S. I feel like if we're judging, which we are judging on the hardware as well, it did have a lot of failures, so I feel like I have to take something off for that. And I will do that for PS3 too, because I had a similar issue to the Red Ring of Death. I'll put it in high A. I feel like it's like around here. It seems so weird putting a 2600 next to the Xbox. I feel like I'm a crazy person over here. Okay, DS. Original DS. Not 3DS. Just DS. DS better than Game Boy Advance? I think so. I think it's like A tier. I think the 3DS is low S tier. If not high A tier. I love DS too, don't get me wrong. I was a PSP kid, but I have a DS and I play it all the time, so. True, it's not wrong. I feel like DS is better than Xbox. It's better than Saturn. Is it better than Dreamcast? Kinda. It's better than N64. It does have a lot of N64 ports. I feel like it's A, so like there somewhere. I know, Spirited, you probably don't have any experience with the 2600, but I mean, it's one of the first it's the game console that really made video games huge in the first place. And also subsequently killed video games at the same time because of shovelware, but I feel like I have to give it somewhere high, you know? Well, 3DS has a different library of games than the DS does, you know what I mean? So, like, when we do the DS, we're gonna have to go, like, we did Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It goes DS, 3DS, and then 3DS New. And those three would all have different libraries, you know? And I feel like the 3DS is better than the normal DS. We got a lot of good, like, remakes. We got a lot of good 3DS games with great graphics. Super underrated Resident Evil games. Resident Evil Revelation and stuff like that. Ocarina of Time remake. Majora's Mask remake. I don't see. Less remakes are kind of weird, though. Maybe you're right. Maybe DS is better than 3DS. I don't know. We'll figure, once again, we'll figure it out. It's probably going to be in the same tier anyways. It's just going to be which one is better than the other one is more the deal. DSi kind of has a different library, but I'm not really going to count it because I feel like it's not big enough for me to fucking talk about. It's just math, yeah. Okay, the Wii. How do we feel about the Wii? Crazy shovelware on the Wii. Crazy shit games. But it does have good games. I was never a fan of the Wiimote, ever. Like, at all. I fucking hated it. I had a Wii, not at launch, but not long after launch. It is one of the best-selling consoles of all time as well. But I feel like it's not one of the best-selling consoles of all time for being a great console. I feel like it's one of the best-selling consoles of all time because so many old-age homes were buying Wiis for Wii Fit. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a thing. Every time I go to a thrift store, I see a whole stack of Wii Fits, like fucking 8 of them, stacked on top of each other for like $2 each. Like, I feel like the Wii was only a really big seller because of its usefulness for people to work out and stuff, you know? I feel like it's B tier. Not even better. I feel like it's below GameCube. I don't know though. I'm trying to think right now of a Wii game that I adore. And I feel like it's my least played console, but I'm biased because I'm not a Nintendo person at all. But I would rather play GameCube games than Wii, right? Like, even when I bought Twilight Princess back in the day, I bought the GameCube version instead of buying the Wii version because I was like, I don't want to do the motion control shit, you know? I feel like that's fair. Okay. PlayStation 3. How do we feel about PlayStation 3? I feel like it's almost equal to the Xbox, but I'm kind of biased in that. I mean, we got the Uncharted games. We got the Last of Us games. We got a good God of War game. The Resistance series. Like, so many good games on PS3. Started off shit. Got really good. Xbox 360 started off great, got really shit. I feel like they had a different trajectory. Like, the 360 started off high and went low, and the PS3 started off low and went high. So I feel like they're kind of equals. Like, I don't really feel like one is better than the other. And plus, they have a huge blend of the same games and third party. So I feel like they kind of got to be on the same level here. I mean, we got Metal Gear Solid 4 on PS3 too, which is pretty fucking huge. Okay. PSP. I feel like PSP is high A tier. Maybe equal to DS. A lot of good games for PSP. We got 5 good Metal Gear Solid games on it. We got a lot of good, like, actual other games. We got good Persona games on it. I feel like it's equal to the DS. It had a lot of good games. Like, I adore my PSP. I mean, I have 3 PSPs, so I guess I'm pretty biased. I'm gonna put it there. I feel like they're equal as well. I feel like that generation, like the PSP, DS, 360, and PS3 are like all really good consoles. Like, Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo were on their A game at that point in time. Except Nintendo was on their A game on their handheld and not on their home consoles, in my opinion, but whatever. The Gizmodo is absolutely a fucking another F tier. I wish Tiger would stop making consoles. Stadia is totally F tier. I don't have experience with this. Xbox One. See, I feel like once we get to this generation now that we're at here is like where the game consoles kind of are going to be hard to rank because they're all so similar and there's not very many exclusives anymore that it's kind of hard to put them apart from each other. But I feel like the Xbox One is like low B tier. Because they really, like, they botched their launch. Like, Xbox One's launch was fucking horrible. If you remember, like, them doing the announcement talking about how you could watch TV on it and, like, nobody gave a shit. Yeah, I agree. Xbox 360 is a legend. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like Xbox One is, like, super low. I don't know. I just feel like if I was going to go for the generation, this generation, I'd have a PS4. PS4 is absolutely A, if not low S tier. While Xbox One, I feel like, is kind of like, I don't know. There's just too many things. PS4 was, like, so much better. I'm going to put it here for now. Okay, yeah, so PS4. PS4 is absolutely at least A tier, I think. Is it better than PS3? It sold better than PS3. I'm pretty sure. But is it better? I feel like here, maybe? Like, it has to be here somewhere. I don't know. Like, it's not better than 360, I don't think. But, like, I feel like here it makes sense. It's definitely high A tier. It feels weird because, like, where I have Game Boy and, like, the highest A tier right now, it feels weird to think that it's better than these. But it really does have, like, that crazy library. And it was one of the first, like, huge handhelds ever, you know? It's true. It's true. Okay, well, we'll leave it there for now. What else we got next? I'm getting confused now because there's too many, like, random-ass consoles. I'm not doing, like, the variations in consoles either, like the 1X or the PS4 Pro and shit like that. Fuck that shit. Okay, 3DS. We said 3DS and DS were almost in the same vein, so I feel like maybe, like, here below PSP. Because you guys made a good point that DS is probably better than 3DS, so I feel like it's around here. Yell at me if you think I'm wrong. New 3DS technically counts as a different console because it does have exclusive games. We got Minecraft on 3DS finally, but I feel like it's a shit console because it's literally, like, the library is tiny. I feel like it's absolutely, like, fucking D tier. before the N64? You think N64 is better than 3DS? Do you think the Nintendo 64 is better than the DS? Is the question. No, the next Xbox console is the Series. The Xbox Series. S and X are their two different versions for each one. So you think like that's a good spot there? Like PSP apps, I don't think is better. I don't think is worse than N64. It just has a huge library of like all kinds of different games, good third-party titles, good first-party titles. Yeah, it feels bad. Like I feel bad. I'm kind of in the same boat as you at N64. That's how I feel about Dreamcast. But like, I mean, like to be fair, it is fair, right? There's a reason that the Dreamcast failed, and there's a reason that the N64 wasn't the best-selling console of that generation, right? Okay. Nintendo Switch. I don't own a Switch. I'm just gonna state that right off the start. So, I'm sorry. Is it S tier or is it A tier? I think what we need to do when we're doing this is like, is the Nintendo Switch better than the DS? Better than the Xbox 360 or better than the Game Boy? You think it's worse than Wii? I think, if you want my opinion on a Switch, I have played one. My roommate has one. I just don't own one. I was never interested in it because I felt like it had the same games that PlayStation and Xbox had, but in worse quality and third-party titles. And the only reason I would buy it would be for Nintendo first-party titles, which like I'm not super interested in. And I already had a Wii U, so I didn't buy a Switch, so I'd played a bunch of Wii U games on that eventually got ported, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like the Switch is a cool concept. As a console, it's great. But I feel like it's not very powerful. I feel like here, I don't know though, I feel like Master System has a better library than that does. I feel like here, the Vectrix is definitely not better than the Switch. I'll even move this down. I'll move both of these down because I feel like the Xbox One deserves a higher stature than those at least. I feel like it's B tier. Yeah, it's either that or they're great first party. The Switch, I feel like, has a lot of the same thing going on that the N64 did. That it has a lot of really good first party titles, but the third party titles that it does have are kind of shit. Or like worse versions of other ones, you know? The Wii U, I feel like, has to be lower than the Switch. It has to be like D. I think it's high D though, because it's not like the worst console ever. Maybe even low C. It has a good library. It's just a stupid console name and a stupid design. See, my thing was all the first party titles I played on Wii U got ported to Switch, and I just felt like I didn't need a Switch. Right? But yeah, I think it is low. Like, I think it's like way down here. It's not... Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I don't know. Because like, I think the Jaguar is even better than the Wii U, because at least it's interesting. And Intellivision, ColecoVision absolutely have good libraries. Commodore 64 has a great library. Neo Geo CD has a great library. 32X has a good library. So like, I feel like Wii U is one of Nintendo's biggest failures, right? Only probably succeeded by the Virtual Boy. So it's either here or it's lower. You know? Okay, what else we got? The Ouya. I feel like the Ouya is not F tier because it did have a fan base and people did have it, and it does have a lot of games. So I feel like it's low E tier. You put it high D? Do you think Game & Watch is better than the Wii U? If you know what Game & Watch is. You probably know who Mr. Game & Watch is, but... Game & Watch was like the Tiger ones with like the not even like a video game. It's just like those black and white like stop motion type images, right? But it was like the first of its kind and like a really huge thing when it came out. So I had to have that in at least C tier. It was Nintendo's first real console, technically, right? Like, you know, you played Smash Brothers probably. You know who Mr. Game & Watch is. He's from that. You know, like, how he moves. You ever play those Tiger Electronics games, like those shitty ones that use 2 batteries and it's just like this black and white crap games? It's like that, but like a better version of that. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know. I feel like we'll leave it there for now. We're gonna move shit around. Evercade is like blah, so I'm just gonna put it in low E tier. It's kind of with the Ouya. Oh, I skipped over the PlayStation Vita. PlayStation Vita is a great console that Sony never supported because they're fucking stupid. It could have been as good as PSP in my opinion. I feel like the Vita is like high C tier or low B tier. I feel like low B tier makes sense though. I love my Vita. It just sucked that Sony kind of threw us to the wayside. I'm not going to count the Neo Geo X, because that's just like a mini console type of thing. Okay, Xbox Series, I guess I'll go with X, because that's the one that a lot of people had. It's better than the Xbox One, but not by much. I feel like it's better than the Switch. I feel like it's around here. So, like, modern consoles are so hard to rate because they're, like, the same thing. They're just computers at this point, so it's kind of hard to, like, you know? Game & Watch 2020s are just re-releases of old games, so they don't really count. Switch OLED doesn't have any new games, I don't think. Like, I don't think it has its own library, right? It's just Switch games with a higher quality screen. Playdate is a really cool console if you've ever seen it. It's a console that has its own library of games that are all exclusive, and it doesn't use battery power. I think maybe it does, but it has like a weird crank on it for like certain games. It's like a weird game console. It's kind of very niche. So I feel like it's either like low D or like E tier, maybe like mid E tier, like around here, maybe even like that. PS5, I genuinely do think is better than the Xbox Series X. I don't think it's equal, because they have a lot better exclusives in my opinion, but it's not A tier. I don't think any of the modern consoles are A tier. Welcome in, Hi-Fi, how you doing? Is PlayStation 5 better than GameCube? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's even better than the Wii, because personally, like, I don't play my PS5 anymore, because I can just play the same games elsewhere. I feel like maybe it is around the same thing as Xbox Series, but it is better than Series. Yeah. We're going to reorganize this. This isn't final, by the way. Hi-Fi, you're just coming in. PC, I have to put it S tier, because, like, it can... For whatever era you want to talk about, it's, you know, I feel like I should put it high S tier, honestly. Just because I don't think that there's anything better than a PC. If you have the best PC of that modern era, then you're probably going to have the best games. Unless we're going back to, like, the 80s. Feels weird putting it over PS2, though. The Shield is just PC. So, like, I'm not even going to do any of that. I guess we could do the Steam Deck. Kind of. Steam Deck, I feel like, is like, good, but, like, I do feel like it's better than Switch, even, like, here, maybe. I feel like that's fair. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think that's all the ones we're gonna do. I'm not gonna do, like, any of the ones, like I said, that are just, like, reissues of the same console with better hardware. Or variations of the same console. So I think, like, this is pretty much it. So now it comes down to reorganize them in each row to what we genuinely think is the best. So we'll start from the top and go bottom, if that makes sense. So out of this S tier, We got PC, PS2, NES, PlayStation, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy Color. Do you think PC is number one? Do you agree with that? You don't think any of the modern consoles are even D tier? I mean, I kind of agree with you, but they do have a good library of games. It's just that there's no exclusives anymore. Most good games now are third party or indie. PC has to be one. Yeah, I know. I feel like weird. The only time PC wasn't number one was in the 80s or 90s because there was games on, say, Genesis that couldn't run on a PC. Unless it was like a Genesis PC. Which do exist, believe it or not. I think once PCs caught up to consoles, they surpassed them ever since, and new consoles are essentially just, you know, PCs. I mean, we could not put it there because this is a console tier list, and just like, you know, we could just remove it and just not include it because it's not a console technically. I feel like that makes more sense. Okay, so we won't include it. Okay. Is PS2 better than the NES? I feel like it is. Because we got a lot of really good series from the PS2. I feel like PS2 has to be the number one console, right? I feel like everybody has to be in agreement with me on that one. I feel like I'm just objectively right here. Is the PlayStation 1 better than the NES? Like, PS1 gave us Mario Brothers, right? Like, I feel like NES and PS2, in my opinion, personally, are the two biggest consoles of all time in terms of their leaps and what they did for gaming, right? You can say what you want about PS2, but Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Dax, SOCOM, Metal Gear 2 and 3, fucking God of War, like, I can go on. Like, the PS2 just has some of the best games of all time, right? And they're all series that a lot of them still exist. You know? Like, most of Sony's exclusives and IP started on PS2, not even PS1. Plus, it had free online. We are going over the hardware as well. It was the weakest out of the whole generation besides the Dreamcast. And it sold because it was the first console to have a DVD player. So, I mean, people were buying them just for the DVD player because it was cheaper to buy a PS2 as a DVD player than it was to buy a DVD player at the time. I know all you youngins out there don't understand this, but that was huge at the time. Playing your movies, not on a tape. I feel like PS2, NES, PlayStation is fair, because I do think the PlayStation is better than the Sega Genesis. I think the Sega Genesis is better than the Super Nintendo, but I feel like, at the same time, I feel like they're kind of equals. Because, like, the Genesis has really good shmup games, and it has a lot of really good platformers, while I feel like the SNES has a lot of really good JRPGs. And a lot of really good first-party Mario titles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're pretty equal, but they have a different library. I think it all depends on what you're looking for. If you want JRPGs, the SNES is absolutely the way to go. Because you got Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, and all that, like, Secret of Mana. Like, you know what I mean? Genesis has fucking, like, great beat-em-up games as well. I mean, you got Streets of Rage and stuff too, right? Yeah, I just think they're both equal. I feel like they just both have a great library. Sonic and Mario, I can't really say. I like Sonic more, but they're both, like, equals, in my opinion, on those consoles, right? And I feel like the same thing with, like, say, if you want to take JRPGs, Shining Force is a great series. Phantasy Star is a great series. And then you got Final Fantasy on the other hand. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like they have comparisons, you know? Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So I'm saying, depends on what you're looking for. Like, you can't... Streets of Rage on the Genesis, there's nothing as good as Streets of Rage on the Super Nintendo. There's just not. Even like Final Fight or something is not as good. Right? Vector Man. I'm trying to think of other great Sony series. Echo the Dolphin. Fuck, like, there's so many. I wish I could look at my game shelf, but there are so many. Anyway, I feel like that's fair. Them at the same thing. And I feel like the Game Boy Color right below them makes perfect sense. So I feel like this S tier is perfect where we have it. Question is, does anything move up from the A tier? But I don't think the original Game Boy is A tier. Or is S tier. I do think it's high A tier, though. I think that's fair. And I feel like the PS4 is going to have to move down. I feel like we should move it down more. Like, I feel like maybe even... I don't know, though. I'm trying to think of PS4 exclusives that were, like, huge. Like, Bloodborne? The Last of Us? I feel like the 360 and PS3 are absolutely better than the PS4, in my opinion. Because, I mean, PlayStation 3 gave us all kinds of really great series as well, right? We got the Uncharted series. The Last of Us started on PS3. Resistance series is great. Metal Gear Solid 4. $360 ahead of Game Boy? I don't know, man. Keep in mind, it's not just the library, it's the console as well, right? And I feel like Game Boy's library is better than the Xbox 360. Dead Rising is good. You're correct. I mean, Game Boy has 3 solid Mario games. The Pokemon games, in general, started on Game Boy, right? Don't forget that. Pokemon Blue and Red. You know? What else? Like you said before, Tetris was like a huge seller for that. Like, that sold the console itself. You know? Yeah, but like indie games is not like a thing. Like, this way I'm seeing it, is indie games is already a PC thing. It just needed to come to consoles. And Halo never started on 360. It started on Xbox. I do agree that Gears of War is high up there, though. PS3 and 360, in my opinion, are equals because, once again, you have series that are great on both, right? Like, I've always said, like, Uncharted and Gears of War are both, like, the third-person shooter games that were, like, really popular on both, and the multiplayer is great on both. Like, Halo and Resistance, like, both great shooter games. Obviously, Halo is way better, which is why I put the 360 above the PS3. I feel like the 360 started off an extremely good console with an extremely good library, and the far longer it went on, the worse the library got. And I feel like the PS3 started off with a really weak library and got really good as it went on. Like, I feel like they're opposites that way, you know what I mean? Dead Space, yep. I feel like I just can't put them above, like, Game Boy. I just feel like I can't, because Game Boy just has so many games that are exclusive to the Game Boy that aren't ports. You know? And Dead Space can be played on PC. And it could at the time as well. You know what I mean? I love Dead Space, so don't get me wrong. Once again, like, I'm trying not to be biased in my own like preference, because I would pick PS3 over any of those consoles if I had to pick it up and play it right now. Even I would say PSP is better than PS3. Game Boy ahead of it, but I definitely think, if anything, 360 is second. Okay, well, we'll keep it there. So the PS3 is the only thing that can move. Do you think... I feel like it's hard for me to ask people this, because not a lot of people have played this, I feel like. but do you think that the 2600 is better than the PlayStation 3? The 2600 has to be high A tier in my opinion, because like it's just such a legendary console. My glasses are fucking falling apart. Yes, they are taped together on one side. I'm getting new glasses in 2 weeks. These ones are falling apart on me. .3DO's on the list, yeah. It's where did I have it to? I had 3DO in... Or did I not place it? I don't see it right now, but I'm sure that we did it. Yes, I did. I did it in high B tier. $2,600 is better than PS3, and that's not you shitposting like you have been. I feel like it is. I feel like the 2600 has so many good games, and it's just it's a legendary console. Like, it's what literally made gaming a household name. You know what I mean? It did crash the market, but that wasn't necessarily the 2600's fault. That was things not being regulated's fault. I don't think the DS is better than the PlayStation 3, but like I feel like if I move the DS above it, maybe it is though. DS has a lot of good games, and so does PSP. Like, I feel like I've played more good games on the DS and PSP than I did PS3. It feels weird. I love PS3. I'm here sitting here with the PS3 kiosk in my background. Clearly a fan. I don't know. I feel like they are. I feel like both those consoles are better. Okay. So, are we still in agreement here? Are we still agreeing? DS and PSP better than the PlayStation 3. N64 better than PlayStation 3. I don't know that it is. That's true. That's true. They're so equal, see, to me, because, like, I feel like they both just have really great libraries. Like, the DS does genuinely have a lot of really good games. Yeah, we don't... The movies aren't the games, so I'm not really including that. N64 over PS3, I do kind of agree with that, yeah. I think the 3DS is lower than the Dreamcast. Is PlayStation 4 better than the Sega CD? Oh, this feels so weird because they're so far apart that like it's hard to do this. The Sega CD has a really good library of games, especially JRPGs. It's a very much product of its time. I feel like it has to be. Fuck, it's so hard. I'm gonna put PlayStation 4 down here. I know that sounds weird, but I just feel like I might even move the 3DS down. I don't know. I feel like Dreamcast has to be here. Maybe even better than PS3. Maybe equal to N64. Kyo Flying Squadron. Good game, though. Sega CD is better than the Neo Geo, in my opinion. Neo Geo has some really great games, but then it also has a lot of games that are just like shitty rip-offs of other games. Is the way I've always looked at Neo Geo. You got King of Fighters and stuff like that. Great games. Metal Slug, great. Right? But like, I feel like it's not as good. I feel like maybe even the Saturn is better than the Neo Geo. Honestly, I feel like this is pretty good, right? Game Boy 360, 2600, DS, PSP, maybe even PSP above DS. I feel like they're interchangeable. N64, Dreamcast, PS3, 3DS, Sega CD, Sega Saturn, Sega Saturn's better than Sega CD. It is. If we're including the Japanese library and stuff, it absolutely is. Maybe even better than 3DS. I don't think it's better than PS3 though, because PS3 has too many like really hard hitting titles for that. That many CDs, right? I have Slam City twice. I have like the 32X version and the... How come we're not including Sega CD 32X? I feel like the Xbox is better than PS4, absolutely, and I even feel like the Neo Geo is as well. Because, I mean, Xbox gave us Halo, for fuck's sake. And a lot of very good games. So, I feel like that's fair. Okay, B tier, this is where it gets more complicated the farther down we go, in my opinion. The 3DO, I have high B tier. Is it better than TurboGrafx? I think so. That includes PC Engine, so any PC Engine games as well. Is it better than the Game Boy Advance? Ooh, 3DO is a crazy leap in tech for the time that it came out. It's a great console. It has a lot of great games. It gave us Gex. I feel like the GameCube is better than both of these. I feel like it has to be like right here, at least. Is the Wii better than the 3DO? I'm conflicted here. I feel like no. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I have Game Boy Advance. I think Game Boy Advance is better than GameCube. And I think maybe TurboGrafx is better than 3DO. Is the Wii better than the 3DO? Man, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like the 3DO should be below the Game Gear, even. I feel like the Wii should be below the Game Gear, personally, but that's just me. I'm not a Wii fan. I never was. I've always had one, but I'm not a huge fan. I feel like all that is pretty fair. Steam Deck is absolutely better than the Switch. Are we counting the Steam Deck? It's a console that plays PC games, essentially, so I'll count it. That's the closest thing to a PC I'll count on this list. They're both better than the Xbox One, in my opinion. Because at least the Switch has good exclusives, right? Because you got Mario Odyssey, which is a great game. 2 Zelda games, which are great games. Wii is great, but like, is it though? Like, seriously, hi-fi. If you had to choose to play a console right now, would it really be the Wii? You know what I mean? Like, would you haul it out to play? What would you play on the Wii if you were gonna haul it out? That's the better question. Mario Galaxy, maybe? I just feel like the Wii, like I was saying earlier, the Wii and the N64 have a similar thing going on where, like, I can't do the N64 any higher because it has really great first-party titles, but it has no good third-party titles. And I feel like the Wii is kind of the same thing because all of its third-party titles are shitty ports of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have good third-party titles. It just doesn't. It has a shit ton of shovelware. Chicken shoot. Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like, if you were going to get Call of Duty, you weren't going to get it for the Wii, because it would be the shitty version of Call of Duty. Right? If you were going to get... Like, I'm trying to think of any other third-party title. Like, you wouldn't get it for the Wii. You would absolutely get it for a 360 or for a PlayStation. But if you want to play Nintendo games, if you want to play Mario or Zelda or Kirby or anything like that, you're going to get a Wii. But the same thing with N64, right? If you want a Mario game, you want a good Rare game, like, N64 is the way to go. But if you wanted a good sports game or you wanted any kind of third-party title for the N64, you were absolutely going with the PlayStation. You know, PS1 is legendary because it not only has good first-party titles, but has an amazing library of third-party titles. Anyways, Neo Geo Pocket Color is like mildly a failure, and so is the Vectrix, but like I feel like they're good enough for B tier because they have good libraries of games. Like Neo Geo Pocket Color was one of the first color consoles with a really great screen. Micro switch buttons, great console, great Sonic game, great Neo Geo games on it, like actually a genuinely good console. The Vectrix is the only vector console ever created, and is a very good thing, but I feel like the Vita is probably better than it though. Maybe even both of those. The Vita is a great console with great games, it just didn't get the support that it deserved. Yeah, Bubsy 3D was PS1 exclusive, how could you argue with that? Exactly. I feel like the 32X is absolutely better than a Neo Geo CD. I feel like Neo Geo CD should move down because it's like a shittier version of the Neo Geo. It does have a different library though, so I feel like it has to be here. I feel like the 32X, out of all of these, I think the Commodore is the best one. I think it's Commodore 64. I don't know though. ColecoVision's really good. So isn't Television. Maybe we'll put the 32X there. I'm being biased because I love the 32X, but it really only has 40 games, so I can't. I feel like the 32X and the Jaguar are very similar anyways. And I think that's fair. I think the rest of that is pretty fair. Wii U is a great piece of hardware, just like another console that they just stopped supporting because they gave up on it. But it isn't like it's a bad console. It's pretty much the same as a Switch, really. Besides its size and whatnot. I feel like this is pretty good. I feel like Commodore 64 has to be high C tier, even maybe low B tier. Because Commodore 64 is like a legendary console, even though I wouldn't really consider it a console, I'd consider it a computer, but computers were different in that time. Here I think this is pretty good. New 3DS is like minimal new games. The Lynx is absolutely probably the best out of all of these. The Odyssey is like a legendary first game console, really, like to be an actual game console. And Pong, I feel like, is even better. Did they re-release Wind Waker for Switch? I don't think they did. They didn't do the remaster of Wind Waker and release on Switch, did they? Maybe they did. I know for a while they didn't. I know they did it with all the other Zelda games. Like, they obviously put out Breath of the Wild on both and whatnot, but I don't think they did the Wind Waker one. Which sucks. For people with Switch. I feel like the 7800 could probably move up even to there. CDI has to stay in E. Telstar, like, it's like whatever. Jaguar CD is probably better than both of these. Ooh, yeah. I feel like the rest of this is pretty equal. I do genuinely think the N-Gage is the best out of all these consoles on this part here. Stadia is a huge failure. Tiger games are failures. 5200 is a huge failure. Virtual Boy is a huge failure. I feel like that's pretty. I feel like we're fair here. Maybe move the Ouya up. It is a service, but like I'm counting it. They were trying to make something new. They were trying to advance gaming in a way that I don't think people are ready for yet. Which is why it's an F tier. The lowest on the list, might I add. Even lower than a fucking Tiger Electronics game, okay? So that's... You know you fucked up if you're lower than a Tiger Electronics game, okay? If I would rather hop on the Virtual Boy and literally burn my retinas than play the Stadia, then you know you fucked up. Nokia N-Gage is a console that was very ahead of its time. You think? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the only thing the Gamecom is ever going to beat out, is Stadia. And only because the Stadia doesn't even fucking work anymore, too, as well. So, there's that, right? I feel like the list is pretty good now. Like, the CDI does have, like, a library of games that are playable and are still fun, even though they're not amazing, like the Zelda games and the Mario game. Mario Hotel, or whatever it's called. You know? Like, Telstar Colortron is, like, it's what it is. The Jaguar CD is a huge failure and barely worked. The Playdate is a really cool concept for, like, a little indie console. If you've ever seen it, it's really, really cool. But it's kind of a failure in terms of its selling. And the Ouya is also another one that, like, had some really cool indie titles that were exclusives, but, like, eventually they moved on to something else. But was not genuinely, like, the worst thing ever. And, like, Pong and the Odyssey have to be up here, in my opinion, because, like, for their time, they're legendary. You know? Didn't have a version of Sonic Jam. Fair. I feel like that's a pretty good list. I feel like we're, like, that's not bad. I could do another tier list instead of playing games tonight, too. If you guys are into that.